This is Brian Giunta, and you're watching Moneyball.
And you know what my favorite things in New York is, especially around the holidays? Those nuts that they sell at the corners.
Oh yeah,
Like the
yeah,
glaze. I don't know what's on those things, man, and I don't even ask. I just load me up.
yeah. No, those are awesome. I'm trying to like what's on them, like
It's like
cinnamon.
yeah, like a cinnamon glaze or something.
Yeah, yeah. No, those are unreal.
Here we go. Here we go. It's Moneyball time. I am with Ice Hockey Center Danny Waite. Excited to have this guy on the show. What is happening, my man?
Thanks for having me first off, and yeah, just at school right now, hanging out, and kind of in the middle of our season, so yeah, just not much going on, just playing hockey.
How's the season going so far?
It's going pretty well. We had a pretty tough start to the year. A lot of tough opponents out of conference. We started off against Maine, and I think they're like top 3 in the country right now. So they beat us pretty bad. And then we had BC, who's number 1. They took it to us, and then we've kind of been finding our legs since those 2 games. And yeah, it's getting better. We just had a little 5-day hiatus to go home and see the family for break. But then we were back here, for the holidays, and then we were back here the 20th and trained for the last week. And then we just played Quinnipiac and Sacred Heart this last week.
Quinnipiac's always a solid team. That's a very familiar name. Did Boston College just leapfrog Michigan State then? Because your boy Nick Andrews told me that they were number 1.
Yeah, actually, I think I was incorrect there. I think Michigan State's 1. I think BC's 2 now. But
because he's going to be mad at you, man.
No, all credit to Michigan State there. I just forgot about that, but no, they're a great team. They're going to be tough to beat in the tournament. I don't know if anybody can take them down, but yeah, they're a good team.
Tell the people, for anybody who doesn't know, Danny, how it kind of works with hockey. So with hockey college, it's a lot of teams that you wouldn't hear every day, right? Like, Quinnipiac and even your school, they're not Florida State or Ohio State or Michigan State. Explain to the people a little bit, because they are D1 schools. How many D1 schools for hockey?
I think there's just right over 60, maybe 65 or 64.
Okay. All right.
There's quite a bit, but there's there's multiple conferences, just like football or other sports throughout the states. And each conference is different. Like some say that some conferences are a lot better than others, but they're all D1 teams and you play everybody. So like we have our out of conference games against, Boston College, who's Hockey East. And we're in the Atlantic Conference, but we played Boston College, Hockey East. Quinnipiac is in the ECAC, so you kind of play those teams out of conference.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit. Now, where you're located, at which school, and where is it located?
I'm at AIC, American International College, and we're in Springfield, Massachusetts, and we're in the Atlantic Division.
Okay, Springfield, Mass. Okay. Now, how does it work when you say getting into the tournament?
There's 16 teams make it.
Okay.
And basically there's something called the pairwise, which is like the NCAA's rankings of all teams. So usually the top 13 to 11 teams usually get an automatic bid.
Okay.
And then the other spots are just up for all the conference winners.
Oh, so you play into them.
Yeah, you play into them. So if you win your league, that's an automatic bid to the tournament. And then, all the top teams that don't win their leagues, they still get a bid too, because there's 16 that make it. So, and then you go to regionals, you got to win 2 games there. And then you go to the Frozen Four and you got to win 2 games there. So it's not that.
It is. I'm sorry to interrupt. It is a little more involved, right? I mean, it's a little more. How many games do you guys play a year? Is it 40, 39, 40?
Yeah, right. I mean, if you go all the way, you're playing right under 40 games. So it's not like the NHL, but the games add up.
It's still a lot of games, bro. Especially, collegiate athletes. A lot of people don't understand this. You guys have schoolwork, and you guys have pressure, and you guys have parents, and you guys have girlfriends, and you guys have parties, and I guess you could put that in perspective of NHLers, but they've already made it, so those guys are okay. They can go and they got a nice warm pillow at night knowing they're sitting on a $1.3 million contract. You guys are still grinding, and it's a lot of pressure. So to play that many games in a couple of month time frame is a little bit, I would think that's a little bit trying, right?
Yeah, it's difficult, especially to balance it with school and, your social life and that stuff. But I'd say just to get here, we've been doing that for a long time I've been doing that since I was probably just a teenager, 13, 14. So I've gotten pretty good at it. But yeah, I'd say the toughest part about college is just, you're not at that pro level. So you continuously want to get better, and you want to, whether it's shooting pucks or getting stronger in the gym, you want to keep getting better to reach your full potential, because you're not really there yet. Right. But at the same time, you're playing a lot of games. So you can't be in the gym too much, but you want to be in there a lot. So it's kind of a balance of continuously trying to get better, but also, making sure you're in peak condition for each game.
You make a really good point. Preparation is something, I was just talking to a college linebacker who's going to most likely declare for the NFL draft, who's, like I was just telling you, defensive player of the year. We spent a lot of time talking about preparation and, whether it's film or whether it's working out, because you can't be in the gym every day. And if you guys are out, and you play back to backs or whatever it is, you're going to be sore, and that's just what it is. How much of that is in the film room, and how much of it, is just preparation for, okay, here's what I could change differently, not from a physical attribute, but here's what I could change to get to a different level?
Yeah, I think in our sport and most sports, but film is probably the go-to. I think every top player in hockey watches a lot of film, whether it's watching your games or watching guys you want to emulate, or just watching like NHL pro games just for fun. If you don't watch hockey and take in all that knowledge and really learn the game more, then you're kind of just at a disadvantage right off the bat. And yeah, I mean, just like other sports, like it's really mental too. Just it's a lot of work on the body, but mentally too, just preparation for every game, and going through that whole day. And some guys have their crazy routines and stuff they got to stick by. I'm pretty more laid back, but
it's those goalies that have all the superstitions, right?
Yeah, goalies are crazy, man. It's
bro, who you tell? They're a different breed of human, aren't they?
But yeah, we've got some great guys, but just different type of characters here at right now. And I mean, I've been to a few schools now, and like each one, the goalies are always just something else. But
they pride themselves on being wacky. It's like they want it's wild. You have a very interesting path. I mean, man, what an opportunity you've had to go Colorado, BC. Was this transfer portals, or how have you been kind of bouncing around and staying at a pretty high level of hockey?
Yeah. So I was at BC my freshman year, and that was right when COVID was going on. So that's when they started how the transfer portal. Before COVID, if you transferred, you had to sit out a full year. So no one wanted
before the portal.
Before the portal and everything. So no one really wanted to transfer and lose a full year of eligibility.
Right.
And then COVID happened, and they said,
let me call you. So you would sit out that year, but then that year's gone as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yes, because I'm pretty sure, yes, because a lot of guys wouldn't even want to flirt with the idea of transferring because they're like, you don't want to waste a year. And also just
even sitting out, say you don't lose that year, even sitting out a year, like anyone who's competitive and a pro athlete, man, and you guys are pro athletes, like I couldn't sit out a year. You know what I mean? It's your craft.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough to take a year off, especially when you're in your prime college years. But yeah, no, I started off at BC, and then after that year, I hit the portal just because wanted to get a little more minutes and play more and have a better opportunity there. And BC is always, they're just bringing in first rounder after first rounder. They're one of the best colleges in hockey that we got. So went to Colorado College for the next 3 years, and it was great there. I got a lot more playing time and had a great first year there, and then had a couple tough injuries. Had a pretty major wrist surgery that put me out for 8 months pretty much. And
so tough.
Yeah, so that
especially
was
after this. I saw the season, especially after the season you had. You get to that. That's where you're saying it started, interrupt you, but because it resonates so well with me. Like you're at that mental point, where you're like, man, I'm flying, I'm grinding. I'm gritty, I'm getting everywhere I want to be, and then up, and it takes you back, dude. And you got to stay so mentally focused, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's it's part of our sport, but it's the toughest thing to handle, just when you're playing at your best and you feel great, and then an injury comes around that it's just kind of like wrong place, wrong time type of thing, and nothing you could have done to to stop it. So that was tough, but yeah, then just kind of tried to grind back from that, and my junior year finally got back to where I could shoot the puck again, and it took a long time, a lot of rehab, but put the work in and got back to a great spot, and played a lot the last 10 games into the playoffs, and we had a unreal run, and one game away from making the NCAA tournament, and that would have been huge for CC because they haven't been there for a while. And then graduated from there and wanted to get my master's degree somewhere. And
so you graduated.
Yeah, I graduated from Colorado. So I was there for my sophomore, junior, senior year, and then just had some options to where I wanted to play my 5th year. And right away, our coach Eric Lane called me and he was just awesome to me. And, right away I knew I wanted to play for him. So
That's so great, man, because I mean, what a cerebral kid. Like, I mean, you already have a degree. You're like, listen, I want to keep playing hockey. And at that point you have options, right? You can, I'm not sure if you ever, declared for a draft or if there was unrestricted stuff, or you could say, okay, I'm going to go play overseas. You have options. There's a lot of different options. You can go play in Canadian leagues. But you wanted to continue your education, right? Your higher learning, and what better way to do it, right? I mean, to get that offer to go and want to get a master's. What are you going to school for?
business.
Okay, so like,
Yeah.
getting that master's in business so that you're going to be able to pretty much do, I mean, a master's is a master's, you know what I mean? And still play hockey for a D1 school, dude. It's smart.
Yeah, no, it was kind of the perfect, it's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to continue my education and get that master's. That's been a goal of mine for a while. And talking to the coaches here and the staff, and I had a few boys in the team too, and it just kind of all worked out pretty well. And I mean, I could have tried to, go and overseas or play here, but there's always time for that after this year.
You're a young man, and
Yeah.
that's something, people, I think this is a problem in my opinion. And I was going to get into the travel hockey with you, and rewind, but I feel like I've just been, almost every show recently has been listening to kind of the path of travel hockey. And what it does is it leads to all the issues with the coaches and how elitist and travel hockey's become. But you've gone through it. My kids are actually going through it now. I have an 11-year-old playing travel hockey, which we're having all kinds of issues. But without that being said, the whole, I mean, I think it's difficult for some people to understand how trying hockey is for all those years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Like, especially now, like some of the stuff the kids have to go through. I mean, even me, when I was like, 5-6 years ago, I was going through a lot, so I can't even imagine it now. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of, politics involved in it, and a lot of
Yeah. Heck
a lot of stuff like that. So, but no, I mean, at the end of the day, like looking back, if you love the game and you just play for yourself and, try to continuously get better, doesn't really matter where you're playing or, I mean, you want those minutes and eventually they'll come. But I was in a pretty lucky spot where my dad got to coach me for a little bit after he retired, and, he helped me. I wasn't always playing a lot but he helped me through those times. And I mean, overall, it helped me for the best. So.
You're very well spoken, man. You sound very confident. You sound very well spoken. I interview a lot of people and I can see it, in the tone of your voice. You seem very assertive, regardless of where your career ends up, which I think a lot of talent and sky's the limit. But you have a very coach-like mentality to you, bro. Like I can see it oozing out of you. And you can see different qualities in different people, right? And when I say assertive, you're saying it's convincing. Does that make sense, right? So as you speak, it's convincing. And that's what a good coach has the ability to do, and relate. So convince and relate without yelling and screaming and getting the point across. Was it tough growing up as Danny Waite and playing as Danny Waite with your, and I'm not sure if you've gotten this question or not. I'm sure you have, but your dad played 19 years in the NHL. He was a staple in the NHL. He was a perennial all-star. I mean, the guy was my era, right? And I loved the dude. I loved watching him. I loved how gritty he was and how he played the game. Was it tough to live in that shadow?
Yeah, honestly, I've got asked that a few times, and I think over time, answers kind of changed. I think looking back, it was a little bit tough at times, knowing that like your dad's a USA Hall of Famer, should be NHL Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Played 19 years. So not like I was living in his shadow, but I mean, I always wanted to, give him a run for his money and try to play in the NHL and be a good player like him. But at the same time, like I was more of a fan of his almost. Like I just loved watching him play so much that.
That's really cool. That's a really cool answer. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I didn't mean in the shadow. I guess everywhere you go with the Danny Waite, right? And oh, is your dad Doug, right? And as soon as you say yes, it's the expectation then automatically, you're going to be an NHL superstar. You know what I'm saying? That's a little more what I meant by it, but
yeah, for sure. It was definitely that too. But like when guys would ask me, "Are you Doug Waite's son?" I would be so happy saying, "Yeah, I am." And
that's cool. That's a cool.
Yeah, and I was really proud to, be his son, and obviously still am.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it was awesome.
Like up until I decided I wasn't anymore, and then I was like, Dad, I'm done with you.
Yeah, worded that wrong. No, it was incredible just to have him as my dad, just going to the rink. When he was in St. Louis, growing up with seeing Al McInnes, Keith Tkachuk, Billy Guerin in the locker room, and like.
So so I got a good story for you, and I heard this today. I mentioned to a guy, he's a hockey fanatic, and I mentioned to him earlier, I said I was going to have Danny Wade on the show, and he said, "All right, he said, I got a story about Doug and Kachuk." So
Oh
they
boy.
were at some type of conference, valet thing, whatever it was. And at the time, the guy I was speaking with was like in his early 20s. And it was when the Chrysler 300 had just come out. And that car looks like a Bentley, but it's a Chrysler. So
Yeah.
he told me Kachuk came up and he looked at him and he had a big chaw in or something. And he was like, "Yeah, I want that Bentley right there," right? And the kid was like, "There's no Bentleys here." He was working for a rental company, and he goes, "There's no Bentleys here." And he goes, "Right there, I want that Bentley," right? And I guess he pulled out a wad of money, and your dad stepped in and apologized for him, and he said, "Hey man, sorry for his behavior. He just wants that car over there. Can you get it ready for us or whatever?"
Yeah.
And it sounded like it was something he always did, right? It was like he was the yin to Kachuk's yang. Like it was funny the story how I heard it, because there's always that guy
Yeah.
with buddies who like always has to apologize for the other dude. You have friends like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's that sounds like the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
they're best
grew you
buddies.
grew up around these guys, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, I grew up at the Kachuk's house all the time, with Matt and Brady too. And yeah, my dad and Keith are great buddies to this day. And, they're both just like, it's like they're both stand-up comedians. It's actually insane. And you get them in a room together, and Billy Guerin too, like
Yeah, Billy Graham.
they're all hilarious. And yeah, that story doesn't surprise me at all.
Do you still keep in touch with the boys, with both boys playing?
Yeah, not like in touch a lot, but my mom and Keith's wife Chantel are best friends to this day. So
Okay.
we always we see them. Like I went to Game 7 last year
Okay.
for Matt, so I was there. I got to see him on the ice, or I didn't go on the ice, but he came over to us, said hi and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we're not like that close, but we share the memories growing up together, and our parents are good friends. So I'm sure
When
I'll
you
see him again. But
of course you will, man. I gotta ask, what's the name of the town you grew up in?
a few different in St. Louis, I grew up
No, the New York, your hometown.
New York, Laddingtown.
Laddingtown. So I was
Ladding-
looking at it and I said, you know what? I'm not going to look it up. I said, I'm going to try to figure it out. And then I just gave up. So is it Lake Placid up there or is it down the other way?
No, it's on Long Island.
That's
Yeah.
why I couldn't find it. All right.
Yeah. So I'm like 45 minutes from the city. I'm just right on, not deep on there, just like pretty close to the city. But yeah, I've lived there since my dad got traded to the Islanders in 2000.
Yeah. So was that home for you? Like kind of growing up, did you stay there because he bounced around. I think he played for 6 or 7 teams, right?
Yeah. He went to Carolina for the year, won the cup there. And
Yep.
we were still, or that was actually, we were in St. Louis at that point.
Oh, so you did move. The family moved to St. Louis?
Yeah. We were in St. Louis for when I was pretty much born until I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Okay.
Then we moved to New York pretty much for good. And
How is the hockey scene in Long Island down there? I do hear there's actually a pretty good history of players coming out of there.
yeah, there's a ton. When I was playing there, like guys like Adam Fox and Charlie McAvoy,
Yeah.
Sonny Milano, those guys had
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
just got to the league and stuff like that. So, but now it's like it's getting ridiculous. Like I go home for summer skates and like the James Higgins, who's the projected first overall pick in next year's NHL draft.
Is he from down there?
Yeah, he's from like 20 minutes from me, and
Oh.
like he's ridiculous with the puck.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
like a 2006 birth year or 2007, and he's like dancing around me. He's better than freaking all the HL guys we got there. It's like what's going on? But
It's something in the
it's
water.
something in the
right?
water there. It's
I know.
there's a lot of good players though coming out of there now, and guys I grew up playing with too.
You just bleed hockey. I can tell. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no off season for you, man. I love it. Like I can see the passion, and that's what I'm saying, man. Like your career is far from over, but you mark my words, you will be coaching, and you're going to be coaching at a high level at some point.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
You're gonna look
I think
back. You're gonna be like D Money, man, on that interview I did in 2024. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think I learned a lot of that from my dad too, because right, he retired in 2010, and then he was the coach of the Islanders for a couple of years. Yeah, no, I tell guys on my team, and they're like, "What? Like your dad?"
Right.
But
What's he doing now?
he's working with the San Jose Sharks now. He's kind of like he's got like an assistant GM role.
Okay.
So he played with Mike Greer, who's the GM of the Sharks
Yep.
now for a
Yep.
while, and so helping him out with a lot of stuff.
That's interesting. We had 2 local Buffalo boys just get drafted by the Sharks, one this year and one the previous year. Quentin Musty and Joey Muldowney.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were both drafted. So Quentin Musty grew up 5 minutes from me, and Joey Muldowney probably less than 5 minutes. Too.
Yeah, no, Musty is he's unreal. I was actually at the Sharks development camp, not this summer, the summer before, coming off my junior year. And Musty was there. It was his first year camp there. He just got drafted.
Yeah.
And he's a stud. He can rip the pill. He's
He
a
can
great
rip it,
player.
man. And I was surprised, because he was a pretty high pick as well. Where do you see yourself in 2 years?
The goal is to play in the NHL. So hopefully I can be in the AHL in 2 years from now and be gunning for some NHL guys' jobs. And yeah, if it's overseas, I mean, I'm open to that too, playing overseas and kind of getting some confidence over there and making a name for myself over there, and then hopefully coming back over here. But at the end of the day, I think I just want to play pro hockey. If it's not the NHL, it's not the NHL, but I want to play pro hockey. I don't want to, stop playing right now. I love the game too much to hang him up right now. But
And no, not even close. And trust me, that's not what I was insinuating. I still see, I see big things coming for you. And again, you're so young, bro. You're so young, and again, smart to have that degree to fall back on. But let's have a couple of fun questions, man. I'll get into. We'll go a little different here this time. What's the last concert you were at?
Last concert I was at. Oh boy.
Got to be honest, man. If it was Celine Dion, it was Celine Dion.
Trying to think. I haven't gone to a concert with my girlfriend yet, so not with her.
Okay. Well,
I went to and when I was in Colorado, I went to a concert at Red Rocks.
okay.
But it was like
I heard of Red Rocks, and I heard that's a real. I've seen it, but there wasn't a show going on. Like I was out there and we were just visiting, and I saw it. I'm like, man, this would be a dope venue, but I never, there was nobody there then.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know who was performing, as you can see, but I just wanted to go there at least once. I mean, that place is crazy. Like it's like out of this world. So I had to get that off the bucket list. And yeah, it was a fun concert though. It was just like lights everywhere. And yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge music guy. I mean, I like music to warm up for games and stuff like that.
Well, that was leading into that. What do you listen to warm up for games? What's like, if you got the headphones on, what do you listen to really pump yourself up for games?
I like rap.
Yeah.
I think rap kind of gets me in the right mindset. Like guys that listen to, country music and like that stuff, I never really got because it doesn't give me the right mindset.
A lot of the hockey guys are rock, classic rock, or rap, and somebody like me, I listen to everything, man, but it's whatever can really get you going. I like, there's some real good, rap like Meek Mill or some stuff like that really gets the juices flowing. And if I'm going out to play anything, I want to be hyped up,
Percent. And even like a little more old school, but Eminem, like I love Eminem. I mean, to this day, like I can listen to the same 6 songs and
I know
before I play and just get ready to go. So
what's your favorite M song?
Lose Yourself. It's got to be.
Really?
I mean, I've probably listened to it over 1,000 times now. So
Till I Collapse is a good one to get you going.
Till I Collapse is another great one.
That guy's a legend. Anybody who says he's not, I mean, so you've been all over the place and traveling and playing for different. Which city do you think has the best food overall? These are tough. I wasn't going to let you off easy, bro. These are tough.
Yeah, I think I got to go New York. Their pizza is just out of this world.
You're right about that, man. And you know what my favorite things in New York is, especially around the holidays? Those nuts that they sell at the corners.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what's on those things, man, and I don't even ask. I just load me up.
Yeah, no, those are awesome. I'm trying to like what's on them, like cinnamon.
Like a cinnamon glaze or something.
Yeah. No, those are unreal.
This was a lot of fun, man. Have you been to Buffalo ever? Have you made it up here?
Yeah, I went to Buffalo. I think we had like a state tournament there when I was probably 13, 14. So, but that was the last time I've been.
Yeah. Well, if you're ever in Buffalo, man, I definitely want to link up and take you to some, a joint with some real Buffalo wings.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you, man. We'll keep in touch for sure. But this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate you coming on the show, and just keep grinding, man. You're confident. It oozes out of you. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it's easy to see, that you're going to be very successful, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
We'll keep in touch for sure. All right.